It is so great to see my next guest finally make his UFC debut. He's going to be fighting this Saturday against Trevin Jones. It's Javid Basharat back here on the program. Javid, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing well, man. Just ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, it looked like you got a full camp for this one. When did you find out about the fight?
Oh, man, I knew about this fight for so long. I'm so ready to just go into fight. I think like 15 weeks I knew about this fight.
Yeah, so more than a full camp, which is always nice. I know Vegas has been the new home as far as training camp and all that. You're a little bit disappointed you didn't get to fight on the London card next week. I'm sure you would have liked to have been on that one.
No, to be honest with you, it was my choice to fight here in Vegas. They had me, so that's why. Because after my Contender Series fight, I had no injuries. I wanted to stay active, go straight into it. December, especially now that I was living in Vegas, December, November, January, February. But they had me planned for the London card. And I was like, look, I'm living in Vegas now. And they said everything's kind of booked up and the only one we got is the week before the London card. So I was like, I don't know, because I still wanted to do the London card. But then I thought about it. That London card has been scrapped a few times because of COVID. And at the time when my fight was getting offered to me, the Omicron variant was like kind of like blowing up in Europe and stuff. And I was like, man, I can't afford to not fight before Ramadan. So I need to, and I didn't want like a short notice type of fight. I wouldn't have mind, but this one was set in stone. So I wanted something just there immediate,
Interesting. And also nice, you just walk down the street, you get to fight, right? It's not like having to, take the plane ride and all that too. For people who might not be aware, how long has it been now? Because I know you won the Contender Series fight. Did you just stay in Vegas or did you happen to go home for a bit? What's been sort of the timeline since we last saw you?
I stayed in Vegas. I've been here for like 6 months now.
Wow.
I wanted to go home, but again, I don't, because I had so much trauma with my visa. Because like I said, I was supposed to be scheduled for Contender Series in September.
That's right.
I couldn't get my visa, and then there was a short notice, the Contender Series against my last guy, and I had so much trauma, and the appointment took so long to get at the embassy because there's such a backlog in London, in England. The backlog because of COVID or whatever is there's a big waiting list. So I was like, if I leave now, I have to reapply for a visa. And I was like, this may take too long. Like last time I didn't even get it before the fight, And I was like, I'm just going to stay out here. My training camp's out here. So I just stayed out here for 6 months.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's nice to have, plenty of time to, get used to the camp and everything like that. So they tell you you're fighting Trevin Jones. I know Trevin has done some cross training in Vegas. Were you pretty familiar with him when they offered you him as an opponent?
And I took the fight. And then afterwards, I did a little bit of research and I went to the gym. I went to Extreme Couture the next day. And I went to the coach and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, does Trevin train here? And he goes, yeah, he trains here. But, like, he comes here on and off. And he had his boy, Carl Reyes, who passed away, unfortunately. Like, they used to be close and he used to come train at Extreme. So some of the boys know him and stuff. But he mostly does his camp, like, with, like, Drysdale. And I don't know where he's doing his camp now, but... yeah, the extreme thing wasn't really an issue from our end.
Okay, and probably on that same note, no training partners, anyone kind of being like, hey, I'm going to stay out of this fight? I guess there wasn't that much of a connection there.
I don't know. I never felt it. I had because the thing about Extreme Couture, what I love is there's so many bodies.
Yeah.
So many bodies. So even if there were, and I'm sure there were pretty much, but I didn't take any notice to them. I was still getting great training in and there wasn't any problem.
Good. Yeah. So now that you've had a chance to kind of assess him as an opponent, how do you look at this fight from a style perspective?
I think stylistically, this is a fight that suits me very well, and it can also be very dangerous. Trevin, he's a very good fighter. Like I'm not going to base him off his last performance against the other guy.
Said you could, yeah.
Yeah, because he cut weight 3 times or 4 times in that month. Like, man, if I was to do that, I put myself in his shoes. If I was to do that, I'd fight probably worse, So respect to him for taking that fight and whatever. But that did not show his full capability, So Trevin, make no mistakes about it. He's a very skilled fighter. But I just match up very well against him because I just don't see... even though he's fought good competition, I don't think he's felt anybody with my type of talent, and my type of dynamic ability.
Yeah, no, very well said. You talked about it there. There's a lot of variety at Extreme Couture as far as training partners. Is there anyone in particular you work with a little bit more, or who are some of the people you're getting to work with as far as bodies at the gym?
Yeah, so first of all, I attend the pro classes, so there you kind of mix between all the partners. There's so many names I can't even name them, but in particular, Patchy Mix has been like my
Oh,
main.
great.
He's a southpaw. Trevin's a southpaw. I know Trevin's going to be even though he's got knockout power, he's going to be one of taking this fight to the ground. And no one better than Patchy to do that. Patchy's the best in the world at what he does, you know?
Yeah. And big fight coming up against Koraguchi, right? I'm sure you heard about that the other day. That's pretty awesome for him.
Yeah, it's a great fight for him. And I really genuinely believe if the best Patchy goes into that fight, he's going to get his $1 million in that tournament for sure.
Yeah.
He's very.
We mentioned it there. The debut is just a few days away here. You seem like you're in a good mood. Usually are anyways when we do these, but how's the weight cut going? It seems like everything's going well.
No, the weight cut's fine. It's always fine. I've done this so much, like I'm cool. It's always miserable, but it's what you make it, you know? It's about your mindset. It's all about the mind. And it's good. Now, this is actually a big shout out to Nicole and Charles and Dan. They're the nutrition team at the PI. And man, like, I don't know. I don't have to do any thinking. You know, sometimes the thinking that takes it out of you, that everything is set. They have my food ready, everything. I feel I'm so spoiled, you know?
Well, and that's such a, like, one of the things you don't have to worry about in camp, really, if you have someone making your meals, because you wouldn't have had that for your last fight because you were just, obviously fighting to get in the UFC. Now you have that as a caveat, also being in Vegas, being able to use them and all the other features at the PI, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, these are small things that make a big difference.
Yeah.
I'm saying it would improve my performance in any form or way or whatever if I did it the other way, but it just allows you to mentally be at peace a little bit, you know? Like some people mentally like to be with their family for training camp and see their family. I'm not that type of guy. Like, it's hard not seeing my family and stuff, but I can be away from them. It's okay, you know? Mentally, I'm okay like that, you know? So these things, they don't really affect me that much, but I'm just here to show like my gratitude towards them, and it makes your life a lot easier, you know?
Yeah. No, very well said. Your corner, will Jake Shields be in the cage with you? Who's going to be in your corner on Saturday?
Yeah, so Jake Shields, he's been the man. He's been helping me out like tremendously, especially for this fight and the last one. But this fight more so because my head coach, more or less, and Dewey Cooper, you know, and Amir Albazi will be in my corner.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So usually I'll have Farid Basharat in my corner, but he's fighting on the same night in Spain. So he had to fly over to Spain and I got one of my coaches over there in England in Legacy Fit cornering for the fight. So everything's great. Everything's going well.
I know you feel like you're going to get your hand raised, otherwise why sign the contract? But how do you envision the fight playing out on Saturday?
I envision a masterclass, to be honest with you. Like, I'm ready for it to get messy. I'm ready for it to get dirty. I've prepared that way. But I just think I'm going to be too dynamic for him. And there's not like a knock on Trevin's skills sets or whatever. It's just more so my confidence in myself, you know. I feel like it's going to be dominant. I think I'm like midway through round 2 or early round 3, probably get the stoppage. That's what I envision. But again, I'm ready for every scenario.
Obviously, UFC debut Saturday, like we talked about there, and you mentioned it after that. Obviously, Ramadan's coming up, so I'm sure that sort of, you don't want to fight during that time because you're not going to be able to train at your best. When sort of after this would you like to fight? Assuming everything goes well, you're healthy, do you sort of have a timeline of what the rest of the year could look like after this fight on Saturday?
So Ramadan finishes in May. I don't really want to look too far past this fight. Right. I know hands full with Trevin, and this is just the UFC. I don't want to look past anyone, but I'm liking like July, August, and then depending how that one goes, and then if I can squeeze in 3 fights before the end of the year again, like have 4 fights this year, I'll be a happy man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's always good to, again, I'm the one asking the questions in case people, whenever they watch interviews, they're like, oh, they're looking past the opponent. It's like, I'm asking the question because I'm sure you got to think about what the rest of your year's looking like, right? So.
No, for sure. And I think something I need to do a little bit better, just plan what I need to do like during my career because now it's the UFC, like I have to be smart with what I do. But at the same time, I've had a long time to prepare for Trevin. I don't want anything to go wrong, and I'm just thinking like there's only a couple days left, Let's get the ball rolling, and then I'll plan. I'll go home, speak to my friends and family, see what they think, and we get the ball rolling,
A name that's come up with you in the past, or someone I know you've expressed interest in fighting, Sean O'Malley. I know there's some rumblings right now. Maybe Pedro Munoz is the next opponent. Do you think that's a fight that will eventually happen with the two of you? I know, again, debuts on Saturday, but still, I'm sure you're looking ahead as far as what the division could look like in the next little bit.
No, 100%. O'Malley, me and O'Malley will for sure meet somewhere down the line. Now it's looking a little bit unrealistic because he's a top 10, top 15 guy. If he loses and he's out of the ranking again, I'm your boy. I'll be down to fight him anytime. But at the same time, we will definitely meet. I do believe, like, in the future, we'll definitely meet. Right now, I'm looking like, what other bantamweights are fighting on my card? There's Yadong Song and Marlon Moraes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're high up as well. So I'm not going to be deluded and start calling all these guys out. I'm not going to chase a ranking just yet. Not that I don't think I'm ready for it, but it's not realistic. I know that's not how the UFC works. So the other ones, Guido Canetti and Martinho.
Chris Martinho, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind fighting any of those guys, because I know they're going to want to get back on get back fighting, and we fought, so let's meet down the line, so
okay.
Maybe that makes sense. Just top of my head, I don't know.
Oh, no, of course. Yeah, no. And I think they typically do that. They sort of look at, fights that are on the same card with the timing and all that. So you might be onto something there for sure. Just a couple more quick things. We had, obviously UFC 272 last weekend, but one of the things that came out of that actually was Khabib Nurmagomedov going into the Hall of Fame. Just your reaction to that, a very storied career and one of the few fighters to, retire undefeated.
Honestly, inspiring, man. I've had the pleasure actually to train with Khabib in the PI. He's a lovely guy, and they work hard. All of the Russians here, the Dagestanis, they train very hard. Team AKA, and man, it's a massive inspiration, because if you think about it, a few fights ago, nobody had Khabib touted as one of the greatest of all time. If you think about it, like, only the last, like, since the Conor fight and the Michael Johnson, like, started creating the hype again, but nobody considered him as the greatest. And in such a short amount of time, I know he's been fighting the UFC for a long time, but a short amount of time since he got the belt and stuff, already put into the Hall of Fame, deservedly so, by all means. But it's very impressive, and it's like, I've never seen it done before, and very impressive.
Yeah, it'll be tough to replicate what he's done in terms of, remaining undefeated with as many fights as he's had, right? It's just, you don't see that. Even the greats, George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, everyone, has lost one fight. He managed to not do that. I thought that was pretty interesting. Just something you referenced there, you had a chance to train with Khabib. What was that like? What do you remember from that? And how long ago was that?
It was like a couple of weeks ago when
oh, they no way.
Yeah, because Islam was fighting, and his cousin Umar and Tagir, all these guys were fighting. And we managed to get some training in, and it's great. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, when I'm in Vegas, I get to have opportunities to train with people like that, And I actually was training with Bilal Muhammad and these guys too. That's where I met them.
That's cool. And obviously Islam picking up a big win over Bobby Green. I think he should get the next title shot here. I know Connor's with your management company, but I think people just want to see Islam, have that top test and, get the winner of Oliveira Gaethje. Do you feel the same way, or would you like to see him get that, rebooked fight with Beneil Dariush?
What, Connor? I'm team Islam all day. I was team Khabib even before.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, he's in the same management, but like, I don't, like, my management doesn't tell me who I can talk to and who I don't. You know what I'm trying to say? So,
yeah, of course. Yeah, understood. Yeah.
So Islam, for me, he should be the guy to get the title shot next. Mm-hmm. To even mention Connor's name is pretty ridiculous. But again, like, I can't hate on Connor too much either, because go make your money, go do your thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and Connor's a good fighter. He's not anymore, but once upon a time, he was a good fighter. So I don't know if he can bring that back. If he can, it'll be interesting. But yeah. Okay.
Very well said. Yeah, I'm with you there. Hopefully we'll see that title shot. And looking forward to your fight, man. UFC Vegas 50 this Saturday. Javid, always appreciate the time, man. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Just thank you, everybody, for the support and everything. And I'm just excited to get my debut going. Let's go. Thank you, Extreme Couture. Thank you, Jake Shields. Thank you, Dewey Cooper. All my training partners, Patchy, Kobe Fair. Yep, let's go, man. I'm ready. Ready to fight.